Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in the financial world. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the rate cuts that just happened. You know, it was a 50 basis point. I was thinking that they do 25. I have my reasons. I kind of laid it out yesterday. And I don't think that is a good signal for the soft landing that they were hoping to shoot for. You know, if you really wanted to signal that you were landing softly and that things were okay, a 25 basis point cut would have been all that you needed. So you kind of saw at the tail end of the day on the stock side, some of those stocks started pulling back off of the little pump that it made. I know crypto did all right, but we will see how the rest of that plays out. So let's dive in and get you prepped for some success today. Let me swap over to my screen. We've got the stock heat map pulled up. We've got Apple up 1.8%. We've got Nvidia down 1.92. We've got Berkshire Hathaway sitting at negative 0.02%. Amazon sitting down 0.24%. Walmart's up 0.55. We've got P&G down 1.11. We've got General Electric up 1.79. ExxonMobil's up 0.35. You've got Tesla down 0.29%. We've got Eli Lilly down 0.13%. And we've got Microsoft down 1%, while Google and Meta are both up 0.31 and 0.3%. So kind of a mixed bag heading into this day, but we'll see how the markets decide that they've digested this data. We've got Bitcoin up 1%. We've got Ethereum up 2.22. We've got BNB sitting down 0.51%. We've got Solana up 3.21. XRP's down 0.03%. We've got Dogecoin up 0.54%. Toncoin's up 1.95%. We've got Tron up 0.6 and Cardano's up 0.99. On the economic calendar side of things, we don't really have too much heavy data on our side of things. We do have the United Kingdom coming out with their interest rate decision, which is also expected to be a cut. It is suspected to be a 25 basis point cut. Oh, it looks like their target's going to be 5%. So that'll be their second cut coming in from back here in June, I believe it was. So that's going to be at 6 my time, which would be 7 Eastern. We do have some continuing jobless claims for America, initial jobless claims as well. That will be a nice little market mover for the morning. Later in the day, we do have a biggie over in Japan with their core inflation rate year over year, inflation rate excluding food and energy year over year, inflation rate month over month, and inflation rate year over year. So this is coming right before their interest rate decision, which is coming in tomorrow. And that will be something that they will definitely be keeping their eyes on. As I've said earlier, though, it is not forecasted that they end up hiking rates again until December. So they really want to see how our rate cut ends up affecting the market, where their dollar, their yen should be gaining some strength against the dollar with our cuts. Let me pull up the fear and greed. For the stock market, we are sitting at the top side of neutral, 57, up 1 point from yesterday. On crypto side of things, we are sitting almost exactly neutral at 49, up 4 points from yesterday. So nice little move up as we got our move up. Let me pull up the liquidation heat map. For the 24-hour chart, we do have some liquidity sitting right above us that it looks like we might try to grab. It's sitting at 62,865 and a little more above us at 63,103. I'll dive into the chart here in a second and we'll see if that's a possibility, or if we're going to come down and grab some of the liquidity below us. There is some sitting at 61,432 and some more down at the very bottom before the push up sitting at 59,045. If we pull up the 3-day, get a little bit of a broader view, it looks like we've grabbed a lot of the liquidity above us, so kind of light below us and nothing really too hot on the bottom side, just pretty much what I called out before. So let me pull up the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, we did make a move up off of the data yesterday. We ended up filling the fair value gap that I had pulled up before, came back into the range, pulled back up to the top of it before using that as a little bouncing off point. I can pull that back up so you can see it, but you can see over here we ended up playing off of that fair value gap pretty hard once we got the data and Jerome Powell did his little speech and moved the markets. We have now pulled back up to the 786 of this range where I pulled from the top over here into the bottom over here. That 786 is sitting at 62,348. You've started seeing some selling pressure in this range. You do have the MACD, which is still pointed up, so that liquidity grab to the upside could be very doable. We do have some divergences though on this prime oscillator with curvature on here, and your money flow is kind of pretty light. It is coming from the red into the green though, so that's something to keep in mind. This could just be a small little pull back to a lower range. We do have 61 where we have some candles that were closed and open pretty equal, so could be a nice point to bounce off of. I'll have to zoom in to a lower time frame to kind of gauge that out. We did get a reversal signal here on this prime oscillator, so looking like that 786 is going to be a point of contention. Let me drop it down to the 1 hour. So here we did have some lightning on the money flow. It is all some light green, kind of looking like it could turn red, but we'll kind of see how things play out as this curvature pulls back up and if we create a higher high here with a lower high here, we could make some divergences. You do have your MACD, which looks like it is scooping back up for some more upside on that. So if we do see a pullback, could not be too strong and could see a continuation. We do have a lot of negative space over here, so could be something to move through quite easily. We did create some fair value gaps right here, so if we do come back into this range, it would be a nice point to, see how the market really values Bitcoin at these levels before we reclaim some highs and make a new local high. Let me drop that back down to the 15-minute here. As you can see here on the 15-minute chart, it does look like we will probably get a little bit of a pullback for the morning. You do have some decent red. You did see some lightning up here in this consolidation range up here, but it is now turned red and has started pointing more down. You did get an oversold signal, overbought signal, a reversal signal, and we are now really curved on that. You do have your MACD, which is also starting to point to the downside, so definitely looking like a little bit of a pullback for the morning. But as your higher time frame charts did look still bullish, that pullback range could only come down to this equal highs that we have here. That was sitting at that 61,332. If we do end up losing that level, this golden pocket here at 60,259 would be a nice bouncing point to continue things. It's really going to depend on how those higher time frame money flow continues. As you can see back on this 4-hour chart, it's getting pretty green. It is pointing back up. So if we can continue that inflow, then we could continue to break out towards the top of this range. We do have that top being almost 65,000. I know on the heat map, let me get back to that heat map real quick. If you pull up a 1-month chart, you do have a little bit of area here in the 65 range where there is about 500 mil sitting to be grabbed. So nothing too hot on that, but there is, you can see some darkening right at that 65.3 range. So if we do end up breaking that, it could just be a nice liquidity grab to come back down to before we come back down. I would like to say hello to the people in the chats. We have Anthony Soprano in here. Good morning. Darren Does Things. Brutal. I called the 0.5 pump. We have Athos. Piper nailed it. 0.5. Darren Does Things again. FOMO in at the top. Anthony Soprano. Looks like double top with 15-minute bear div. Yep, definitely looking like we could make a pullback for the morning. Good morning, Rokinos, and good morning, French Toaster. I don't know if anyone had any assets that they'd like me to look at for today, but if David does not end up showing up, I will probably end up ending the show a little bit short because the other days long show where I carried it was super hard on my voice, and my throat is kind of scratchy this morning, so I'm not trying to push it too hard. I would like to be here Friday and have a decent voice for y'all. So good morning, French Toaster. I did have the Russell pulled up. I was taking a little look at it. It is a nice signal of how risk on versus risk off the market is looking at things. We do have some gaps that were made on this push up. As you can see off of the data that was dropped yesterday, we got a nice push up before massive amounts of selling pressure off of Jerome Powell speaking. You know, it was a 50-point cut, which, as I said earlier, is not a very good signal for a soft landing, and is not necessarily something that the markets are going to react amazing to. You can kind of see, if you look at your bonds, the bonds got bought up extremely heavy. You are now sitting down at 4.76% on a three-month yield. Your 1 year is also extremely bought up off of that. You can see we're now down below 4%. Your 2 month, not as bought up. You can see there was some selling off of that. So people are more positive about that 2 year than they are about the short term time frame, which, you know, would be expected off of a 50-point cut like that. No, it's not a signal that the short term is as good as they've been trying to tell us, and that the long term might be a little bit better. We would just need to let the dust settle on that and kind of see where the market lands off of it. Let me hop back over to the Russell. We do have, after all of that selling pressure, this old 236, which is sitting right below us, that we could easily pull back to and get even lower off of. You do see a lightning on your prime oscillator, but your outflows are still greater than your inflows, so that pullback could come back even farther. This is a daily chart. Let me drop that back down to a 4 hour. As you can see here, there is divergence from starting back here on August 24th to now. We created this divergence here where we're probably going to end up coming back down to some levels. 2181 would be the first level I would look at, as it is right below here and not too far of a move down. It's about a $25 move down. So nothing too crazy, but it is going to be a good signal on how the risk on and risk off is for the markets. I can pull the Dixie up real quick. As you can see from yesterday, we got some downward movement. As I was saying, either way, if we got a 50-point cut or a 25-point cut, we would see downward movement off of that. We do have this range here that I've been looking at, the 99.5 is going to be a point that we will most likely come back down to. You do have a lot of outflows on your prime oscillator. Your MACD is setting up to cross. It is right there. The two lines are touching each other and we are in the negative. You can see the first red candle there. We will see how market opens on of it, but it's definitely going to be something that I'm seeing pull back. You will see other as we got that 50-point cut, you will see other currencies strengthening against the dollar. Let me pull up the CAD. Here's the US dollar versus the CAD, and you can see we have definitely lost some strength against it. That is to be expected with such a giant rate cut like that. You do have the Japanese yen against, here's the US dollar against the yen. We also lost some strength against it. We did get a overbought signal, but your MACD is still kind of pointing to the upside. It is getting a little bit of curvature though. So could see a little bit more of a move up for today on the dollar versus the yen, as they're waiting to see their core inflation rates for the end of the day and their rate decision for Friday. So let me hop into the chat real quick. I did see we have Eric Wallen showing up. He says bull markets back, guys. Alexander G is also in the chat. Good morning, good morning. I do see Stacks or Tia requested. I don't know if anyone else has any other assets that they'd like me to look at, but I can definitely hop over and look at Stacks and probably Tia as well. I do have plenty of time for that. Let me scroll down here to Stacks. As you can see, there was a decent move off of the data yesterday for Stacks as well. It is a Bitcoin layer 2, so when Bitcoin does well, you can expect to see Stacks do even better. We did finally reclaim this fib line. Let me see where it's pulled from. It's been a while since I've looked at Stacks. It looks like it was pulled from this low over here before we ended up pushing up to our last high. So that was the 618 sitting at $1.50. Let me zoom back in. As we've reclaimed that range, I would like to see a pullback to it as we turn it into support. It has been a level of contention back here, which we were not able to hold. Also, you can see back here, we rejected off of it extremely hard. We've gotten wicks up to it before continuing in our slight trend up. So it is something to keep our eye on. We do have the prime oscillator showing overbought. There is not a reversal signal yet, but as other assets might be, oh, it looks like David is here. Good morning, sir. Good morning. The peoples can hear you.
Hi. Oh, hey. Good morning. I made it. I'm sorry. I am late.
Yep, just a little.
Just a, this is late. Man,
You're like
I've
you.
been on here for a few minutes.
Well, I've been doing TA, so I didn't even look at the other screen. You know, there's one screen over here and one screen over here, and you're over here, and my other screen that I'm doing TA on is off on the other side. Let me get my screen shared with you, and then
How's it going?
it's going. My throat does not like talking this much though. It's more than I talk in a day. You know, I sit in a machine for 10 hours and I don't say nothing to nobody for like 9 hours and 50 minutes of the day. So this is a lot. As soon as
Yeah.
as soon as I finish up with the Stacks TA, I'm going to toss that over to you though, so I can take a drink of water, because I am a little bit thirsty.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. I didn't ask. I am telling. So, if we can hold this $1.59 range, which we have lost several times and managed to reclaim here, but bounced off of and came down under, I would expect to see more upward movement. There is some points that we could end up holding above us if we continue on this uptrend. That $1.74 cent range is going to be a nice point to come back to. We do have some equal candles here on a 4-hour chart with open and closes, so that would be a nice point to come back to and create some support at. I would like to see a consolidation on that range before a move up and reclaiming these local highs at $1.85. So something to keep your eye on. I'm going to toss that over to you so I can drink my water.
All right, guys. So, we're still on track to follow my forecast. Only thing that I've done to this, that I've changed it, other than the colors, is I've shifted it to the right a little bit, changed up these waves in here. Nah, I didn't change. I mean, I'm just following the price action, but I still have that consolidation up here with the down and a fake breakout, and then roll over. Now, maybe this doesn't happen, but I just feel like this is engineered liquidity moving up to the upside. So, and just kind of just like the thing, just like right here, engineered liquidity to the upside, and we get the flush down. So yeah, I don't know. We're at one of my tops, but just kind of be on the lookout for any kind of big spikes above any major swing levels and rejection from that. If you get that, then this is what's likely to play out, in my opinion. Of course, we could also see a possible. I don't know if I'd call it an inverse head and shoulders because of this low coming in, or this high rather coming in so low. Because I would kind of want it up here so that we get a flat in here. And then that would give us the inverse head and shoulders that I'm looking at. But if you can see it, it's here. This just looks like accumulation. I'm being very laggy. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure. And then a third one, but I don't think I would like that, and I don't think I would trust it. So it would probably roll over. It'd get you psyched up, thinking, "Oh man, we've got us." It gets some people thinking that we've got an inverse head and shoulders, and that would be super bullish. But I don't think that's what this is, or what it's going to turn into. I mean, it's possible that, yeah, we could see the neckline come this way and then have a shoulder and then a head and then a shoulder and then whoop, it goes up. That's possible. I could see that. This would be bullish, and actually this is what I would be looking for if we are to be bullish and not get this rollover. I would be looking for a push up and then a consolidation on top of this range instead of the consolidation on top and then the push up and then the push down. Like, I would much rather get above the range first and then consolidate on top of it, because that would more likely than not mean we are building support so that we can go higher. But I'm still sticking with bearishness. I think the move up is a fake out. So I would just be very careful with that. It's gonna, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yesterday was kind of weird, and I don't know how much you've gotten into the. I'm sure the whole beginning of the show was about the Fed rate cut decision, 50 points. So it's kind of, the market, I think, is kind of uncertain right now. So uncertainty usually leads to bearishness. So
I actually hadn't went over it too much because I was hoping you'd show up and we could talk about it together, since you took the day off and you actually got to hear Jerome Powell feed the people his waffle.
Yeah, he's a little all over the place. Oh, by the way, I think one of the last things you want to hear the Fed chair say is the economy is fine. It's fine. It's like that meme with the dog sitting in a fire, fiery house. Everything around him is on fire, and he's just sitting there sipping his coffee. It's fine. The economy's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. Like, that's okay. Whatever you say, J Pal.
I mean, it's fine if you're properly invested. If not, you might get crapped on just a little bit.
We already got a text from our realtor saying they cut rates by 0.5%. Now you can get more bang for your buck or whatever, more house for your buck. And I'm just like, I can wait another 6 months. Let this thing come down.
You might as well wait for June of next year if
Right.
predictions are correct. We could be coming down to 3%. So even more
Yeah.
even more house for your buck.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, maybe we can wait. Are we doing a Batman here? It looks like we might be doing a Batman. Batman being a pattern that is typically a bearish pattern where you get the Batman ears, right? It's usually how it goes when you get the Batman.
Normally a indecision signal. Batman and Bart Simpson.
Yeah, exactly. And you do have a little bit of you do have some divergence here, a little bit, not really divergence, but the momentum just isn't pushing up. But hey, man, if this just keeps breaking to the upside, I mean, obviously, I still think we have more upside to go according to my forecast. In order for my forecast, yes, I am the weatherman, crypto weatherman. My forecast, so just we're still on course for higher prices. So this is what I was looking at yesterday. Perfect breakout, back test, and then push to the upside. And then if you would have taken this this flagpole here, and then taken this over to where you broke out from, you got that right there. And then there you go. Look at that perfect measured move right up to the top there. This is where you get a breakout. Then you get the retest. This is where you go long. Set up. This is not financial advice. This is educational content only. Then the measured move. Stop loss just below this low. Excuse me. Sorry. Bless me. All right. There we go. And that was a 4.5% trade on a 1% risk. 4-1. That's actually a beautiful trade. So, yeah. This is it, man. And I was home all day, and I missed this. I was so mad because I think this was when my my wife went to go get my son, so I had to was playing with him at the time. So I was and then I came back and we were already like up here, and I was like, well, I can't jump in it now. It's not gonna. It's too late. So.
You gotta
Oh well.
FOMO in at the top, David. FOMO in at the
No,
top.
no, 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 no.
I thought
Not
that
in my house. No, no, no.
I thought that's the rules of the game. We FOMO in
You buy high and buy higher.
and sell higher.
No, you buy high and oh well, I guess so. Buy high and sell higher. Or you buy high, sell low. One of the two.
Yeah.
That's everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this, BC. Are you gonna go back to you or what? You got something? Are we gonna talk about this Fed funds rate? We've got 12 minutes.
Yep. Let me just swap it over to the two of us. So in Jerome Powell's speech yesterday, he announced the 50-point basis cut. And the decision was, highly anticipated by some and less anticipated by others. There was a lot of indecision over it. Are we going to get 50? Are we going to get 25? The betting markets were definitely leaning towards that 50. I did not think it would be as good in the short term as a 25-point would. And we will kind of see how this plays out over the next 6 weeks, because it is crunch time for your assets, as people really make that decision on how they feel about that. That you saw the Russell start selling off at the end of the day extremely hard after it made some massive gains off of
Have
the
you looked at
50-point
it?
cut.
Have
Yeah,
you looked at it pre-market yet?
I did.
Breaking out again.
It's breaking out again. Oh God, I looked at it at the beginning of the show, so it has been about 40 minutes since I looked at it.
I mean, it's just been going ham all morning.
Oh, yep.
It's finally, it looked like it's pulled back. It's pulled back in the last 15 minutes, but yeah, it's going for that retrace, that 0768 at 2,285. So we'll see if it gets there. But zooming out, we can see the Russell had a nice little push yesterday. So if it can break out, then that gives us the that opens up the breadth of the market, and we start getting some expansion, and that just shows that the risk on assets. I don't know if you noticed the yields yesterday.
Yes. The short term are very, very bought up. I did go over that, which kind of goes on what I was saying about is they would, if we get a 50-point cut, that the markets would want more surety in the short term, because that 50 basis point cut and the weakening of the dollar, you're going to want to go in something that's extremely sure, at least for the next 3 months, where it's like, let's see where we land. And it's like, do I want to risk it? It could be bullish, it could be bearish, but you know what's not bullish or bearish? 4% yield, 4.76% yield over 3 months. And that's where, if you have the money to park it in something like that for a short amount of time and at least get almost 5%, that's a decent move. There's nothing wrong with playing it safe sometimes when the market's going crazy. We are coming up to the biggest profit season of the year for your producers, which is why I don't think a 50-point cut is really going to help the consumer side of things at all. You're coming up on Thanksgiving, coming up on Christmas. Like, this is a big holiday season where you're not going to see a lot of jobs being picked up. You'll see some seasonal jobs, but those seasonal jobs don't stay. The first thing these producers are going to do is not hire new people. They're going to be like, let's run these profits up. The same way that we are as investors, like, okay, well, we got our 50-point cut. Let's run these profits up. Are we running it up by longing or shorting?
Why do you think so many of the 10 years were sold off? Does that not show an appetite for risk?
Yes, but when you look at a 10-year time horizon at 3.7, your average year in the stock market is 10%. So if you can park your assets, if you can park your money anywhere else, you'll get better. Pretty much anywhere else, you'll get better gains. So is the market, if you have a 10-year time horizon, is your best spot going to be a 3.7, or is your best spot going to be hey, I'm gonna throw this at the SPX for the next 10 years. Probably the SPX, or even the NASDAQ, or any of these other stock indices, or even Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going to perform better over the next 10 years than 3.7% yield? I certainly hope so. That's why Bitcoin's my biggest
hope
holding. That's why Bitcoin is my biggest holding. So,
I mean, it's on average like 84% a year or something.
yeah. So it's just how these people with a lot more liquidity than I have look at the market, where it's like, okay, over the next 10 years, is if with a smaller percentage of my capital, what is the smart sure play? Sometimes that's bonds, sometimes that's not bonds. Whereas you saw the 5% as well was also sold off, where the market's a little more sure on a 5-year time horizon that their money is better placed in a little less secure options, where 3.3.5% is pennies when you're gonna put that in the SPX for the next 5 years, and it's most likely gonna like at least hit a nice little double up on something, as the SPX has been on a massive tear.
Yeah, I think Powell's. I think we got I was thinking we would get a dovish 50, but instead we got a hawkish 50. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't. It's a balancing act, and I understand. It's difficult, but man, we were talking yesterday how about Powell was going to be damned if it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. No matter what he said, the market was not going to be happy with him. So.
No. Well, I do like that he said that future rate decisions would be made on a meeting by meeting basis, and that there's not an end goal, like an end target for the interest rates, which means that, that's a little more surety on, hey, we're actually playing this by the data. And I know we did a big rate cut at first, but this is going to be data driven, and kind of falls in line with the 90s and the 2000s rate cuts, the 2010s rate cuts, where it's like they were shooting for a soft landing. They were going off of data driven, and it wasn't, hey, this is our target and this is our cutting cycle, and we're going to cut and we're going to cut and we're going to cut and we're going to cut.
Do you think this time's going to be different than 07 and 01 simply because we're not technically in a recession? Because the last two times that we started our rate cut cycle by 50 basis points, the markets took an absolute dump, crashed hard. But those were also cuts in the middle of a recession.
Whereas they cut then to massively bring growth. Whereas now they are cutting because the consumer and your job numbers are the biggest heavy factors in it. Not because, hey, our market is contracting and we need growth. We need these companies to be able to borrow at 0% interest and give us nothing back in the short term. It's very, very, very different scenarios, which is why it's good to hear that Powell's going to be like, we will make it on a meeting by meeting basis, as opposed to it's like, we're cutting 50%. Y'all will see us cut again in the next meeting.
And then you got him saying, what was it? Oh yeah. I mean, look at the what was it? The unemployment rate. Historically speaking, we got to go back to history. Historically speaking, 4.4% is not bad. I mean,
historically speaking, it's not bad. I mean, like, if you really want to,
if that's what you got to reach for, instead of being like, well, I think the job market is strong and labor market is strong, and Yeah. It's like instead, it's kind of like, well, historically speaking, it's not that bad. It's like, yeah, but it could get bad.
Yeah.
Like that's not really an answer.
No, but like he is a master politician, whereas the best answer is a non-answer.
Hmm.
If you're gonna
Yeah.
do it right. You know?
Yeah.
Keep the indecision in there so that markets don't react too strong either way. Because that's his job. His job is to come in there and not move the markets. His job is to answer questions in a non-market moving way and bring a little bit of hopium that at the end of whatever the goal is at the meeting, whether it be a rate indecision, a rate hike, a rate cut, that he doesn't break things. You don't want your investor scared. You don't want your money fleeing. And he does a decent job at it. I may not like him all the time, but he does a decent job at what his job is.
Yeah. Well, it is 6:30, my friend.
Yes, sir, it is. I just noticed that.
I want us to give a shout out. Hey, Army Piper is in here. Look at that. He's up early. Old
Extra
man is up
early.
early. I mean, sorry.
Grandpa Piper. I'm kidding.
Oh no, don't.
I've
We're
given
gonna
him.
get fired. Not that we get paid, but we're gonna get fired.
He knows it's out of love.
Yeah. Good morning, Alexandra G, best mod in the biz. DDT, what's up? Down, all set. Hut, Tony Soprano, Randy Abidjits, and Ballin Wallen, Olaf Tosta. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I love you all. And I'll see you in the chats. But yep, it's time to go. So
I guess
I hope you all have a great day.
I guess Army Piper said that he is up early because the newest member of his house has him up early.
Oh, he got the Piper. Did he got Piper?
I guess so.
Is that what they named it?
I
he got
honestly can't remember. They had so many names and they went back and forth, and I know a name got chosen and then it got overruled because happy wife, happy life. So
indeed.
yeah.
I wanted to name him Stay. Come here, Stay.
No,
Come here, Stay.
Go.
Think about how confusing that dog.
Yeah.
That confused that dog would be.
Yeah, Go would have been an even more confusing one.
Yeah. Go, Stay. Or Stay, go. Well, all right, anyway.
Yeah. See what I mean?
A little more confusing.
Yeah. But thank you to everyone that showed up. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you are not already subscribed and you haven't liked it. Check out the link in the description. Also, tune in to the Morning Market Report with Army Piper and OC Guy. I think Tradefly makes an appearance on Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. So tune in at 9:30 with the market open on this channel. We also have the last Crypto Nightcap show of the week because it is Thursday. That's going to be 8:30 tonight here on this channel as well. So tune in for all that alpha. And you guys, stay safe today. We might get some heavy movements as people decide how they feel about these 50-point rate cuts.
We do have unemployment claims today, right?
Yes, early in the morning. Early in the morning.
8:30 in an
Yeah.
hour. All right.
Yep. Other than that, everyone wake up.
Today's going to be a good day.